When we start a project with a client, one of the first things that we do is to have a visioning and goal-setting session. We call it a visioning session, which is where we want all the stakeholders to get their definition of success on the table. And what we bring to that is a framework of 5 factors: environmental, cultural, social, technical, and economic factors. And we use that to frame the discussion and help everybody start generating ideas about what success for the project would be. We lead that by providing our own ideas, but we want everybody else to provide their ideas as well, so we understand what success looks like for them and we know what we're striving for.
Yeah, the environmental construct is largely a performative one. What impacts did the materials have that were harvested and brought to the site and assembled to make a new environment? How deleterious effect was it on the environments that all those materials came from? How carefully stewarded were the processes and practices of that extraction process in the process of forming and making the environment?
Environmental challenges of Urban Outfitters was to continue with the spirit of adaptive reuse that MS&R is well known for and that we enjoy doing. In other words, there is nothing more sustainable than reusing an existing building, period. We could reuse brick, we could reuse wood, we could reuse steel, we could reuse a lot of special materials. Those are just a couple of small examples of some of the sustainable aspects to that project, but overall the environment was considered, and I think it was a great success.
Well, culture is critical to making great architecture because all buildings are rooted in their place. All great buildings are rooted in their place. They're buildings that are tied to the people, to the history of a place, to what people do, to what they've done in the past and what they aspire to do. Any building that is really effective in serving its purpose and in serving the people that use it has to have a tie to what those people are all about.
Well, the cultural aspects of Mill City Museum really center around the preservation of the building and the stories that it tells about the development of Minneapolis and of flour milling. There wouldn't be a city here if it wasn't for the water power and the milling and the agricultural lands that surround the Twin Cities.
Well, the social aspect of buildings and the social aspect of architecture is that buildings are where interactions take place. People have evolved from living largely outside to living largely inside, and the interactions that we have, who we are, what we talk about, is so fundamentally shaped by the space that we're in that the social aspects of architecture are just really fundamental to creating great architecture.
From a cultural and social perspective, the library is accommodating some shift in the way the demographics of the suburbs are working. So if you felt gregarious, you want to meet with someone, you want to chat with someone about a book or work on a homework project together, there's a place to do that. If you just wanted to be alone, get away from things, there's a nook that you can sit in.
The realm of technical considerations, are easily understood in some terms and more complicated in others. The easy ones are the assembly process. Technically, buildings are made up of several elements and components and attached and adhered and stacked and assembled in a system of technical connections and couplings. And each of the elements can be thought of as having technical attributes. And to maximize technical integrity of a building is an obvious thing that architects since time immemorial have been concerned with, but as we get higher and higher expectations about performance in a building with a recognition that they have to endure, the technical aspects change a little bit.
You know, when we approach technology with a client, it goes beyond those sort of mundane pieces one might say as which level of technology or type of technology is appropriate for a project. We take on a more tectonic approach. We're looking at high tech and low tech. We're looking at the needs for how the building performs as an organism itself, but also the needs of the users.
Well, economy is a reality of building. People build buildings with different means, and great buildings respond to the social and cultural aspects of architecture, but they do so through the limitations or through the opportunities that are afforded by economy.
You know, the economic construct is both easy and perhaps one of the most opaque and difficult of all five. The easy part of it is when you rearrange an environment, remake it or construct it and construe it, it's going to cost you something. And to get equal amount of value for less cost is good. That's the easy part, right? It's how it is that cost actually achieves a longer term value and serves the other four that is really complicated, but really important.
Factors such as economics, people, geography, circumstances, all those things are ways of categorizing opportunities.